During the early 90s, several artists broke away from Marvel Comics and formed Image Comics. One of them was known as Jim Lee, who was most famous for redesigning the X-Men at the time. But when he was in Image, he formed the WildC.A.T.s, or Covert Action Teams. This license was picked up by Playmates, and they released some figures to coincide with the TV show that was running at the time. The WildC.A.T.s is a story about two races, the Cherubim and the Daemonites, an intergalactic battle. The Daemonites would use shape-shifting-esque abilities to blend in with humans. But the packaging for these figures was very nice. Had some nice artwork from Jim Lee himself, and then you had the figure displayed properly. And then just like the Skeleton Warriors, you got some other figures, and a lot of reading, and their accessories. The figures released were Spartan, Grifter, Zealot, Warblade, Maul, Voodoo, and last but not least, Void. And that's it for the WildC.A.T.s. Now on to the Daemonites. You got Lord Hellspawn, Pike, and, of course, the Daemonite aliens. The figures came with many accessories, such as the Halo communicator, shown in the bottom right. Could be held by most of the figures pretty well, along with their other accessories. Then some of the figures had interchangeable limbs, like Spartan and Warblade. Warblade was pretty simple. You unplugged the hose from his lower arm, popped that sucker off, and put the new one on. And you're ready to go. Spartan came with an interchangeable left hand. Why it wasn't just a regular blue hand, I'm not too sure. But he did come with a, I guess, if you want to call it, spaghetti firing hand. Which looks quite cool and really quite funny at the same time. Very nice. And then you could see them with the other hands displayed here. Pike included a staff that could separate and be held with both hands. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like a gun, but it's a very interesting weapon. You'd have to watch the show to really see it in action. And then each figure came with a base. The WildC.A.T.s and the Daemonites came with their own base, but Void's was the most unique, being a purple WildC.A.T.s logo with a flight stand attachment to make it look like she was hovering, just like in the show and the comics. And then there was the Bullet Bike, the only vehicle released for the line, but really, there wasn't a whole lot they could do. The ship they flew around was quite massive, and I'm not sure if the budget was there to make it at the time. But the bike was serviceable and very nice. Had lots of stickers, but again, not too bad. One of the coolest details, I think, is Jim Lee's signature as the, well, license plate for the back. Very cool. One of the many gimmicks this thing has is it's got this piece in the front that would flip up. Now, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be guns, but looks like it. We'll explain why it's called a bullet bike. There's a shot of it there. Again, not too sure on that. It also has a kickstand, so it can stay in place. And also, like many motorcycles, it rolls. Hooray! It also looks very nice next to your Grifter figure. Although he is quite the pain to get on, it looks nice in the end. I think is worth the trouble. And then there were 2-packs. One of them, as you see here, is Grifter and the Daemonite Alien. Now this isn't exactly the 2-pack, it's just the 2 figures I happen to have, but unlike the Spartan and Hellspawn one, this one's not really a variant. It comes with a special stand, but other than that, pretty much the same figures. It's also a nice way to get extra Daemonite aliens to build your Daemonite army. I believe I have 4 at this point. But they do look very nice next to your Hellspawn figure. And then there's the Grifter versus Daemonite alien in the package, along with the Hellspawn and Spartan I mentioned earlier. There were also variants released, like this Pike here, except he was released in what was called the Image Universe series. We'll talk about that a little later. But he basically came with the same accessories as a regular Pike, just featured a different paint job, which is kind of a gunmetal type color. And then the other variants released were Spartan in the stealth suit, Zealot in her Cody uniform, as well as a silver Warblade, I'm not sure what it's called, some kind of armor I believe, and then Maul in the combat suit. And last but not least, we have Hellspawn with ceremonial battle dress. Very interesting. And then, speaking of that Image universe, we have Dark Razor, or Black Razor, excuse me, as well as Mr. Majestic and Slag, who all appeared in the TV show. Not sure why they appeared under that banner, but it's worth noting. There are also jumbo figures like this giant Grifter here, and Spartan, and the one that makes the most sense, Maul. These were about 12 inches tall. Very common thing for the 90s. But that is the WildC.A.T.s, a very cool show with very decent action figures. These were not released by McFarlane Toys, so that explains their very good quality. But other than that, I would say this is a line worth checking out, and remember, they were heroes, not zeros. I'll catch you guys next time.